In this video, we're going to take a dive into combat probing in EVE Online. Getting the hang of this skill can give you a big advantage in finding tricky targets and getting the upper hand in PvP battles. I'm going to go over some of the basics of using combat scanner probes and share some tips for efficient probing and show you some techniques to help you find and take down your targets with accuracy. So buckle up and get ready to boost your combat probing skills now. The ship that I'll be using for this demonstration is the mighty Heretic. This ship is fitted with a cloak and combat scanner probes, a scram and an interdiction sphere launcher for tackle once a target has been probed down. Interdictors are destroyer-sized ships commonly called dictors or bubblers and are advanced destroyers whose primary role is for warp disruption and target capture. They have a tactical role on the battlefield that focuses on mobility and fleet support rather than damage output. One of the key features of the interdictor is that they can field an interdiction sphere launcher, which prevents all ships, except certain specialised ships, from warping out whilst in its radius. The warp probes that are deployed from an interdictor have a radius of 20 km from the launch point. This results in a 40 km area of effect sphere around the launch point. By default, warp probes, the bubble, lasts for 2 minutes. As a combat prober, your job is to not only to find a hostile ship in space, but you have to be capable of tackling it before it can warp away, and you need to be able to hold it long enough for backup to arrive. Now, I've chosen the Heretic. This is because it offers incredible versatility, because of the presence of the interdiction sphere launcher, which when coupled with the combat probes can prove devastating for any fleet. I focused predominantly on the cloaky proby Heretic as this is my preferred option. However, there are other ships where a similar outcome can be achieved. A probing interceptor can be used, for example, but these are quite fragile and they require much better fitting skills, probing skills, and they are much more expensive. They do warp incredibly quickly and can get fleets on top of enemies very quickly, so work really well for grid combat probing to allow for very quick tackle. In addition to this, of course, a T1 probing frigate such as the Probe or Heron can be used, and for less than 2.5 million ISK, you can become an effective combat prober in a cheap, fast and agile ship that can fit a medium shield extender and even comes with a drone bay, meaning that you can really afford to get in there and tackle things. So we've looked at what combat probers are and what ship they can fly. Let's look at how to combat probe. So the next part of the video is the demonstration side. This comes in the form of live recorded demos with a variety of outcomes. Some of these are run in high sec, so no ships are tackled. However, I've tried to show you some live fire demos from nullsec with a variety of outcomes. Let's go and take a look. Okay, so I am just out in my Heretic, and I'm just going to show you the basics of probing, the probe scanner, probes, what they look like, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to warp over to the sun, and I'm just going to show you the probe scan. Okay, so to access the probe scanner, it's down here on your scanner, on your HUD, so it's the left hand side here. If you click on the left side, or you do Alt-P, that opens your probe scanner window, and what you have a solar system map, and you also have a probe scanner, area on the right hand side. So currently your directional scanner, your 14 AU directional scanner, is set up to a full range of 14 AU. I've actually got mine on 10 at the moment because I'm doing something, so you've got pretty much the whole system on scan. As you can see, it's in a sphere around your ship. Now obviously I've got a lot of ships that are on scan, so I'm going to try and deploy probes and try and scan one of them down. So to launch probes, you can click on launch here. That launches the probe. As you can see, they're there in space. There you go. So that's 8 probes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they are launched in a pinpoint formation. Now, pinpoint formation is the best for probing ships down in terms of finding a location for them, because there's a greater overlap and it allows the probes to each triangulate to each other. So I've deployed the probes at the sun, and to move them around you have a number of options. As you can see, attached to the central probe you have lateral left and right, and also ups and downs arrows. So generally to move them you would use these arrows, and I will give you a demonstration now. To move them up, to move them left and right, and to move them front to back you need to change your camera orientation. So that is up down, that is laterally, so your kind of side view. So top view, which is your plan view looking directly down in the solar system. And to move them front to back you would grab the arrows. So as you can see, you've got 3 dimensions of movement around the space. Now you can also, and I'll try and show you now, you can also drag the side of the sides, tops of the square box in the middle. So I'll show you that now. So I'm going to drag this to the right, using the right side. And that drags it in 3 dimensions. Personally, I prefer using the toggle side and toggle top view. Just find it slightly easy. Obviously you can zoom in on the probes, you can zoom out to locate them, to get better positioning on them. So that's the probe window in terms of the actual system, the solar system. What you also have is the probe scanner, which is over here. Now the probe scanner is divided into a number of areas. I've got an appropriate overview set up that is looking for ships. Obviously it's a combat probing class, so I'm looking for ships rather than people, or rather than sites and so on and so forth. So I'm looking for ships. Now as you can see, you've also got a number of selections down here. You've got the pinpoint formation, you've got spread formation, save current formation, and send to the current formation overview. So you've also got a slider here which allows you to adjust the probe size. So as you can see, the probe scan changes. As the probe scan changes, it gets more close, you'll get closer pinpoint to your target. So I'm going to run the probes at 8 AU and so I'm going to analyze. So on my directional scanner, I can see I've got a number of ships. I've got a Drake, Venture, Retriever, Vexor, Venture, so on and so forth. So there's quite a lot of ships. As you can see, they've all come up there. I'm going to ignore the results of the NPCs. I'm now looking at just combat ships here. Now, so I've got a combat battle cruiser on 2 AU, 2.6. As you can see, that's there. I've also got a mining, which is over there. Now he's quite near a station, so he might be docked. You've also got another one by a station. The other signatures are here. Now what I'm going to try and do is narrow down one of these ships and get a probe scan on them. Just reanalyzing, so I've recentered the probes, narrowed down the range to 4 AU from 8 AU at the centre. As you can see, I've got a frigate on scan now, a couple of frigates, combat battlecruiser. So that combat battlecruiser might still be out. So we might try and scan him. So I'm going to center my ship, my scan probes around him. So by just clicking. Going to reanalyze. So I've recentered, reanalyze. So I've got the probes right around. In a combat battlecruiser, I was at 49.7%, and I've got 100%. So he looks to be maybe at a station though, or a planet. Let's go and have a look. There's also a retriever with him too. Whilst we're warping over there, I can obviously check my directional scan. See where I'm landing. And there's the Gnosis there. I landed 4K off him. Now obviously if I was out hunting, I would put a bubble up on him. I'd scram him, tackle him, and then call in the fleet. So that's the first demonstration. It's very, very simple. Obviously these guys aren't expecting somebody to want to scan them down because they're in safe space. It's .9 here. However, I'm going to just do the same thing in the next system as well. So let's have a look. Now, the beauty of doing this kind of practical or practice in this system is that there's no pressure to it. Obviously, it's not a fleet, so I'm just literally just practicing using the interface and so on and so forth. So it's very, very important to just, when you try out new things, just get practice in a safe area of space. So we've got a couple of ships on scan, one at 4%. Let's go for this one. I try to get as near as I can to the centre of that. I'm just going to narrow. So we've gone from 4% on that ship at 20 AU. There's a VNI on scan also, so it might be the VNI. Could be the VNI's move. There's an alligator just landing. Reanalyzing again, so we're at 13% on 13.6 on ZBD. He's moved again. I'm going to try again, so 12.5%, 12.9% rather. As I kind of mentioned, it's just about practicing. So ZBD is, where is he? Right. It looks like he might moved over towards a station, maybe. Now, it may be that I've just spooked him slightly. Obviously, we're in .5, so he might just be getting spooked. No, he's out again. It's just a case of just moving the probe, resend, then narrowing down the range. Still on 8 AU. 4.5% on it. He's definitely bouncing, I believe. So 13.5% on 8 AU scan. Now on this, I'm going to narrow it down to like say 4 AU. And we'll just reanalyze, try and get a better hit on it. So it's at 13.3. There we go. ZBD, it's a cruiser of some description, 35%. Put it at 1, so 35.5% thereabout. There we go, 100% hit. So it's Osprey Navy issue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line over to that direction, which I am going to do, and I'm going to walk to the gentleman. I'm going to walk to him at 10 to see what happens. See where he is. See where he is, what he's up to. Possibly freak him out. Here we go. So I'm in warp, so that was, I think, possibly the 4th gate, maybe? 3rd gate, maybe? He's still here. And there he is. It's a 55k burn. And I'm just going to burn in his direction. Not actually going to point him or anything, or scram him or anything. Just going to simulate. So it's burn. And 30. Lock him. And then I'm just going to warp out. And I'm at 12, 10, 11. And I'm warping out. Okay. So that's pretty much a demonstration. I'm going to go to another system and do the same again. So I'm just going to try the same again. So the probes are up in the air. Got them on 8. I've got a couple of things on scan. Got Golem, 2 Golems on scan. Golems are between 5 and 10. So Golems are between 5 and 10. Ooh, I've got the Golems. So as you can see, I've clicked analyze by accident. I was going to try and reanalyze over there and recenter because I know they're over that direction. I'm now using a combination of the directional scanner but also the probe. So I've dropped the probes around the cone of the directional scanner. There they are, 56%. Obviously, because this isn't nullsec, they're not moving, so they're not in any danger here. They've gone from 56% and 100%, and I'm going to walk to them now. Now, chances are they're going to be doing they're going to be at a gated site, maybe, or something like that. There's certainly one of them is over there. And there you go, there's the second, there's the first. Let's take that. The gate. Of course, the gate. So, as you can see, that's just a really, really quick example of how you can scan somebody down. Obviously, there's zero risk to these guys, but it's just for the purpose of this demonstration, I wanted to show you the movement of the probes around the probe window, narrowing down the range using the slider, and just relocating the probes, and using a variety of techniques, using your directional scanner to find an approximate range direction of them, but also having the ability to place the probes around the cone of the directional scanner to get an accurate reading on where they are. So that's it for this example. Going to move over to another example, so I hope you enjoyed that. As you can see, got ship narrowing, see if we can narrow it down. Lining that. There's a shuttle. Shuttle over it. It's over at a planet, so he might be at a structure or something like that, mate. Yeah. And like, probably should have put on half a while back. There it is, 100%. Off close. What?
Warp drive active.
As you can see, landing now, and there is literally a shuttle in space on it. Gonna bubble up on. Yay! And we got a kill. I mean, there's nobody in the ship. A killer's a killer. It's online OC. It's relatively relaxed per se. Obviously, I'm not looking to engage, and I'm not rushing to get the scanning done. However, just same again, I'll take the gate, check my long range dscan, check grid. Right, there's a lot more people in here, so there's like 16. I'm going to just line to 3HX gate. There's nothing on scan. I'm going to drop, and so probes are up. I'm going to check send. So probes are up on sun. Aligning that. Let's see if we get any dice. So we've got a scan. And nothing on. One last scan. So the secondary area that's off scan. So I'm here on this grid here. I've checked the center grid and then that grid over there. So there is a ship active over here. Where is he? So I've got 15% on him at the moment. And there's still nothing on scan over. I'm going to line over to that direction. For some point in that direction. Right, so it's a blockade. There's a blockade runner quite close to go. So it might be that he's actually on gate or just about to take. And 100%. He looks to be on. So I'm going to line over that direction. And I will walk. There's a viator, 44 AU away, so he's probably going to be on the GK gate or XV gate maybe. There is an Astra house over here, so it could be on the Astra. No, he is actually. There he is, he's actually off gate. Gonna regret. Ooh, don't know why. So I've regressed. Let me just see. So he's off gate. He's probably just come in via from a jump. I'm going to bubble him as well. Just see if I can just kill him. And then just see what I get. So I'm just spamming my dscan, as you can see. He's relatively close to gate. I don't think he'll get back to gate, but it's whether I've got sufficient DPS to kill him. That's more the question. So let me just have a look see. He's not got any low. He's probably going to get through to gate, unfortunately. There's a catalyst on scan. I'm going to do one pulse of overheat just in case. Catalyst is landing. There he is. I'm going to go for him next. Don't think the catalyst. Yeah, so the thing he's going to go for the catalyst. And catalyst is through as well. Just going to take the gate into FAD. Running out. So same again. 6 in local. Grid scan clear. It's a big system though. So, going to align centre around there. Get probes up here. Drop them at sun. Going to scan. So as you can see, probes are they're already deployed and they're moving over to here. As you can see, they're bouncing through system. Grid scan has got an Ishtar. Got praxis in, walk to the praxis. Let's go 100. Hang on. Let's go 100 to the praxis. Or in fact, let's be bold. Let's be bold. Let's warp at 10, get in bubble, and then close.
Drive active.
There he is, there's praxis. Gonna chuck a bubble up on him straight away then. Oh, I've missed him. Outright. So the next 4 demonstrations show me out in nullsec. I'm out in tribute and into veil and sort of surrounding systems into venal and so on. Anyhow, I stumbled across a chap in local who was out carrier ratting in a Thanatos. Within sort of 30 seconds of hitting his local system, I had him probed down and was in warp to him. And sadly, the Thanatos actually walked out before I could manage to get the bubble up. Now, there was 0 chance that I could have engaged. Obviously, I had no fleet with me. It was purely for the purpose of this demonstration that I wanted to record it.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
So as you can see, this is the 3rd time that I've nearly caught this Thanatos. Now, I had no intention of engaging the gentleman other than putting a bubble on him just to demonstrate for the purpose of this video. Now, it became a bit of a joke between me and him that I'd explained to him that I was making a demo video for combat probing and so on and so forth, and there was some good banter in local. Anyhow, on this last instance, what I decided to do was to walk to his pos, check the orientation of the Thanatos to see what direction he'd walked in from, and I got an approximate warp in location direction. So what I did was I then bookmarked his location, warped to that approximate direction, and then walked back to that bookmark at range at 100, with the intention of the next time I was to come in local, rather than probing him, just warping straight to that bookmarking and bubbling up, and then putting the probes on top of him. So let's see how that goes. So this is me in Warp to the Sun. As you can see, that's me just about to land, and I then walk back to the bookmark at 100 with the intention of bookmarking that location and then leaving system.
Warp drive active.
So that is the bookmark, and I'm going to leave local shortly.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
Now, as you can see, sadly, the bubble was not deployed before the Thanatos got into warp. So unfortunately, the bubble trap didn't work. However, the beauty of this demonstration is that the screen grab that I had shows you that the deployment of the bubble was aligned correctly. So had the bubble been deployed early enough, I'm pretty sure that he would have been caught in that trap. Good bants in local from the chap who was in local, so I appreciate that. And that's the end of that demonstration, so I hope you enjoyed it. One of the things that I've wanted to try and achieve through these videos is to show you that there is a set process to combat probing, and there are a lot of actions that must be undertaken in a certain order in order to find targets with the greatest of ease. In effect, it's to be as efficient with your menus and as efficient with your tasks that you're doing when you enter a system. For instance, when you're once you've got probes up, you reposition them, you resize them, and then you analyze. And if you try and do that as quick as possible, you'll get the quickest hit as possible. So as you can see from the demonstrations, I'm hoping you would have seen that I started off quite slow for the purpose of the video, and with time towards the end I was scanning down targets within sort of 30, 45 seconds, that sort of thing, which I know is not the quickest, but obviously with time, muscle memory, you will be able to improve in that manner. So one of the things that I've been keen to provide is like a process for combat probing. Now, broadly speaking, I've split this into intelligence, combat probing, and engaging. So the intelligence side is the intelligence for when you enter local. So it's the local count. How many people are in local? Is the gate clear? Is there a gate camp? What's on scan short range? What's on scan on 14? So on and so forth. So in effect, if you follow this process and get this process into a set regime, it will make your life significantly easier. Now, what I personally do is when I enter local, I check on the local count. If local is empty, I move on. If there are newts in local, I check the gate. Is there a gate camp? If it's clear, I check the 14 AU dscan. If that's clear, I then try to drop probes. Once I've dropped probes, I set them at 8 AU, I put them at the middle of the system in the sun, and then I scan the sun. I align to the sun, and then that way I'm already aligned, so if I do get 100% hit on something, I can obviously instantly warp. Now, that's the intelligence side. Now, once you move, you're then moving into the combat probing side. So once you click analyze, you're now actively hunting for targets. So if there are ships on scan, try and locate those ships. If there are no ships on scan through the system, reposition your probes to another area so to see if there's any ships on outlying planets or what have you. If there are no ships on scan through system, leave local. But if there are, that's when you then need to start repositioning and resizing and analyzing your probe results. And recentering it in effect so that you're actually triangulating to the final target that you're looking for. Now, once you find that target and you get that 100% hit, that's when you're moving into the engagement process. So that is moving from combat probing into engagement. You are going to be warping to a target, you are going to tackle that target, and you need to advise your fleet accordingly. So when that happens, you need to be advising the FC, I'm in warp to a target in XY system, just hold. Then that way they at least know where you are, what the situation is, and if you then get a tackle, you can then call that tackle to then call the rest of the fleet in. So combat probing in itself is an incredibly rewarding aspect of the game. You are the content creator, you are getting content for the FC, you are getting content for your fleet mates. So give it a go.
Skill training completed.